comes to 1,200 litres to 3,500 litres per milk a year. So at 1 cow a year will give far more milk than the Karuna Bhavan currently requires. We have a community around, I don't know how wide that community is, but 400 people. And you've got Glasgow, the city, coming by. So again, this is just to put a picture. I want in your particular groups to think about these things, and there's no, we're looking for some kind of code, some things to consider. So it's to put in a big hat and say, here's all the considerations, and here are the kind of tools to manifest something that's possible here. So again, it has real ramifications. If you can work it, we can get a clear picture here. Then we have a template for any other basic rural project. We want to increase the amount of milk capacity in our temples. We want those who've got cows to have more cows, produce more milk. We want more farms to take up the cost of cow protection. We don't want to be scared of it. We want them to be demanded. We want people to say, we want a goshala in our temple, and we know it can be done. So, as you can help me now, I was just thinking, that's kind of an intro, and I just thought we could put little groups, whether we can just do it geographically, or we can do it more scientifically, because there are not. How many people have experience with managing a goshala of some sort? 8, 9 people. So we can either just see where the numbers go, and that's that, or you can cluster all them together so everyone else has got free thinking. What do you think? Well, any thoughts on this? Okay, at least one goshala experienced person in each group. However, I would say that the goshala managers already have a certain template that they're working to. And certainly that could be part of a discussion, but I also ask that they help feed out new thoughts, new ideas how it could be done. Even this morning we heard Cyril talking about this kind of hiring out cows to goshala. So that kind of thought, new fresh ways of thinking about things. So we may get a number of models presented or coming out from the discussions. Any comments about that initial thought? This is kind of a little experimental. We want to come out with some ideas for a goshala for Karuna Bhavan. How many groups should we do? There's about 40 people here. How many groups?
4.
So groups of 10? Is that too big? Doesn't matter because you're all going to be, 8 groups.
Collects money with his Ahimsa Foundation and use the same marketing to monthly subscriptions. You mentioned £3, £5, £9 or £10 a month. So we would begin by collecting Lakshmi, somehow marketing the concept of Ahimsa, the Ahimsa Foundation. So not that we're making our own new brand, but just being an expansion of the Ahimsa Foundation, presenting at agricultural shows, farmers markets, things like that. And so once enough Lakshmi was coming in to employ one person, then we would try to employ somebody, and they would look after, to begin with, 1 or 2 cows, which would only require part-time work. So the other, to employ them like full-time, the remainder of the time would be engaged in marketing. And then also the infrastructure. There's one barn, an empty barn over here. Well, it's got stuff in it, but if we took it out, it would be empty. And then we could put a cow in there, or 2. But they will keep the cows in the temple room. So I think that is that everything that we discussed in group 2. Okay.
Group number 3, please.
Number 3.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. So we wanted to popularize the plan, and then we realized we needed to have a plan to popularize, and then we thought we'd better formulate the plan. And so then formulating the plan, it became obvious there was a few things we didn't know. How much time does it take? Say if we go for an easy cow, we were thinking maybe one hireling cow and one calf. And although you don't get so much milk, that would be sufficient. At least we're thinking it would be sufficient for what we need. How much time would it take? If we employ one person, £10 an hour, could we do that in, like, 2-hour slots, and then he gets 200 a week or something, and then that's the congregation. This is what it's going to cost us to employ this person. You're prepared to help and give this amount per month. So we formulate the plan, then we popularize the plan. We go to the community, the local, the extended, the vegan organization, larger communities, politicians, and we see what type of support we can get once we show we have a plan. Which is a little bit what I do in the businesses. I show them what we're doing here at Karuna Bhavan and then ask them to give a donation. So people will give donations if they know it's for something tangible. So that if we have a plan and then we go and popularize it, then we can raise funds to maintain it. And we could, like Saranga was saying, we could link up with Sita Ram's organisation and the type of cow, work out what is going to be the best, maybe Highland cow, and how much time it will take to do that. That was it, really. Thank you.
Number 4, please.
So our group, we had Rukmini Mataji in our group, and she said that she had 2 cows for 17 years, and they didn't need so much land. They had how much acres of land? How many acres of land? 6 acres. 6.5 acres. Hectares of land. So we need like 1 acre per cow. So I don't know how many acres we have. But so she said that we need 2 new people, and they must have experience in looking after the cows and love that service. So we could start off with 1 or 2 cows, maybe from Sitaram Prabhu, and we need a barn. So I was thinking maybe we could build a barn next to something like what the alpacas have, and the 2 people should be devotees. She thinks that the best thing would be devotees, and we can pay them a salary. And right now we don't have the funding, but there may be a way. But from 10 litres of milk, she said we could make 200 grams of butter. So we would need a preparation room to make butter, yogurt, and ghee from all the milk. So I don't know how we would work that out as well. So that's how far we got for now.
Thank you very much. Okay, next group. No, he's doing number 1.
This is just the statistics and the fundraising and the things and the cows, taking from the cows from the Sitaram Prabhu. I think most of us have already discussed. So this is about the statistics. So year 1, we just did a 3-year projection, just for 3 years. So year 1, as Syamasundar Prabhu said, we'll be having 5,000 liters of milk per cow, and the temple consumption is 3,600 liters, and we'll be having 1,400 liters in the first year. And if we sell that milk at the rate of 3 pounds per litre, and the temple can have 4,200 pounds. And the manual expense, if they take it into consideration, of 3,000 pounds, the labour. And if you remove that 3,000 from 4,200 pounds, we'll be having 1,200 pounds first year. And second year, if you take additional cow, a milking cow, for the first year, so which will have the first cow, which will give 3,000 liters the second year, and the second cow, because it's the first year for it, it will give 5,000 liters. In total, for that second year, temple can have 8,000 liters, and the temple consumption will be same. We were taking the maximum end, which is 10 liters per day, is it? 10 liters per day, so which is 3,650 liters. So we'll be saving 4,400 liters in that year. And if we sell that at the rate of same 3 pounds per liter, and that comes up to 13,000 pounds. And the expense, if the expense goes to like 3,000 to 5,000 at least, and it can save us 8,000 pounds for the second year. And the third year, if you go with the same strategy of getting another car, I don't know how it is possible. Mataji was suggesting it's not possible. But if it is, I don't know how it is possible, but like if we can buy another cow, the milking cow, so we'll be having 3 milking cows. First one giving 1,500 liters, second one giving 3,000 liters, and third one giving 5,000 liters, which comes up to 9,500 liters. And the temple consumption is 3.6, which remains the same. And the total savings of milk in that particular year is 6,000 liters. And if we sell, just the milk and the milk products, if we sell the milk and milk products at the rate of 3 pounds per liter, it goes to 17,700 pounds. And because of the increase in the necessity of the source, manual source, if we take it, the expenses as 5,000 pounds for that year, we still have 12,000 pounds for the third year. And this is our projection. And with the cows, you can use a barn here. And if you have to buy additional land with that savings, in the 3 years, it goes up to about 15 to 20K. That's the savings. I mean, this is just our calculations, but more expertise come from the experienced people. This is our projection. Thank you.
So how many minutes I got? Sorry, mine is a bit elaborative. Please do mind if I make any mistakes. Sorry, I was thinking of starting a farm. Like if I have to start a farm in Karuna Bhavan, our group we were discussing about having 2 heifers to start with. Heifers are like first pregnancy cows. They'll be easy for like hand milking if you're going to do hand milking as a main priority here. In terms of breed, they can decide. They're saying that Highland cows are good in this case, or the other option is like if in worst case scenario, if you want to give it to Sitaram Prabhu, have the breed that he has so that it's easy for him in future also. That's an alternative option only in worst case. And in terms of barns, we have 2 barns in there. They are like this. This is where we are having the prasad. And this can be like a hay barn and the straw barn. And next to that we can build a milking parlor. Because milk you have to either cool it or pasteurize it. So you need to have one of the systems available in this unit. And this shelter over here can be used for the cows. And after 6 months, you need to separate the calves, otherwise you'll be having a big problem. So you need to have 2 barns ready. But this will be after 6 months of you starting the project. And after like Syamasundar Prabhu said, you need to have 1 year projection, 3 year projection, 5 year projection. What is next like that? So when it is 3 years time, so we need to review like whether the calves that we got from these heifers are these males or females. If they are males, we usually castrate them at the age of 7 months, and we use them as oxen. I don't know if you may get both oxen, you may get both cows, you may get one cow and one oxen. It's all nature's call. So depending on that. So if you have both oxen or one oxen, you need to have a third pen built somewhere else for the oxen. And if they are females, 3 years time they will be like more than 1.5 years also, and they are ready for impregnation. And we may have to purchase a bull, or we may have to call a bull here. That's one way of doing that. That's what they do in India. They call a bull just for when the cows are in heat. They get the thing done, and that's it. The bull will be gone. Or if you can maintain, then you may have to bring a bull in 3 years time. And yeah. So again this after 3 years, you may have one cow or maybe 2 cows because of the heifers. You don't know what they give as we don't know whether they give a bull calf or a cow calf. So if you have 2 cows, then you may have to breed them, both of them, and then you have more milk. So the thing is, with 5,000 liters of milk per year, you are left with 7,400 liters minimum, or 8,400 liters minimum per year. But what you're going to do with all this milk? This is the first calving, and this is how much milk you get in the first year, excess after your use. So you'll be using 600 liters per year on average. Like if you use 4 liters per day on average, let's take the minimum one. So, and the remaining you have to utilize it. Either you have to make it to produce some ghee, like make butter and produce ghee or cheese, or you can also after making ghee, you have a byproduct of paneer. Whether you want to use it in your place only or you want to give it to others, and the different things that you can work out with. And in terms of donations, when you get these 2 heifers, generally the Indian community or some people they're interested in donating cows. So that's what we do in Manna. Whoever wants to donate a cow, they have to pay for the price of the cow and the delivery charges. That's how we get the donation for a cow. And for the maintenance, there will be people in the manor. What we do is called Go Sevak. They'll be paying like £2 a day for the maintenance of the cow. So that will cover the hay and straw costs during the winter times usually, or if you need any medication required. And when you make general awareness of these donations, that once you have the cows here, people are interested in visiting them, and people are interested in paying them, people are interested in feeding them. So there are different ways that you can actually generate money towards keeping up the cows. So again, it depends on how many people visiting this place and how many people visit after you having the cows here. It may increase. Some people may want to come every week to see the cows and pet them, or things like that. So if in 3 years' time, if you have 2 oxen, then what you do? We don't have to buy a new cow, but what they do in India is while they're giving milk, they impregnate them. So you may not have milk for those 1 or 2 months in the end, but you will get more milk, even though they are giving milk, you can still impregnate them. And for 7 months they give milk. Last 2 months they won't give milk when the baby is building in their stomach. So that's again that is considered at the age of 3 when they are staying in this farm here. So what else? Yeah, and the different dairy products that you can make, mainly cheese, or because Scotland is famous for cheese, I think. And in terms of land, I heard you have 6 acres, and you can keep that as strip grazing into 6 portions, and they can be kept, like, you know, we can use, nowadays we started using the electric fence. First time they may get shocked, but after that the cows won't go near the electric fence. That's the easy way to do the strip grazing in any place. So after 3 years, if you have more cows, you may have to buy more land. So that's the 5-year plan. So I have gone up to this point, so I don't know if you have any doubts or corrections that you want to make.
What labor?
Labor, yeah. So 2 hours milking in the morning, 2 hours milking in the evening. It has to be 2 different people, 4 days 1 person and 3 days 1 person. And for making products, 3 hours per week, or maybe more depending on how much produce, how much variety of things that you're going to make with the cow's milk. And in terms of milkers, men are still have milkers paying minimum wage, doesn't have to be £10 per hour. But if you don't have an alternative, finding a person who milks £10 per hour only, that's a consideration has to make by the temple.
So, thank you all for participating in that. Can I just get general comments? How did you feel about going through that process? Any comments at all?
Good, but we're just concerned about the money coming in to start something like this, for purchasing of land, for repairing a barn, for building buildings. Where is the money going to come from? Just an idea.
Okay. Anything else? Any comments?
Also the fact that we need 2 people that had experience in looking after cows and love that service. It's not that we can just get anybody and everybody to do it. To find those suitable people and to be able to pay them so they can maintain it themselves. So that's another point, because it needs finances. We don't have that right now.
My comment is a little bit sentimental, but my experience being 25 years looking after the cows in the Vrindavan is that everybody, it's like having a child. Everybody can tell you what to do, you can read the books, but at the end it will be your experience. It will be something personal that we had in the last 2 years to cows, and we had 2 completely different experiences. What I can say is that for us, in my experience, the most important thing to having a cow is to desire the cow, is to want to have it, to love the cow, and to commit with the cow for life. Not think about how many liters just, or how many years. Yes, the average is 16, but in the Vrindavan we got cows dying at 28, 30. Maybe because we treat them maybe too much well, I don't know. But the other year we got one ox that he died at 18, and for us it was like, oh, he was young, because we are used to have 25, 28 years old cows living. And as I said, two completely different realities. We have the same breed, we have the Bruna Alpina. And we have the first one was a male, and the cow was given a certain amount of milk. Everything was very easy, also to separe when he stopped drinking the milk. The second one, after 1 year, she's giving much more or less milk. It was a baby girl who is a mad, and of course we are a temple very close to the city, so what happens, that congregation and people who comes out, they start saying, aha, you're treating badly the cow. Why are you doing this to the cow? So all vegans came and say that cow protection is not exactly what we used to tell them because we're treating bad the cows, etc., etc. So I was telling the Prabhu that we end up having to buy this kind of, it's something that you put in the cow. It's like a bra, more or less. So the cow is not able to take the milk anyway. But this is my experience that, yeah, you can read, you can do everything, but it's like being a parent. You have to want, you have to love, and you have to be prepared for many surprises.
I had a doubt if being that the cow protection is one.
405 paid days per year. So you have to give it a practical shape. All the anxieties that are there, you think, well, what is the solution for it? Danny Tyler told me a story that there was one leader from NASA. He said, I want a rocket that can go out to space and come back and land. And all the professionals said, that's impossible. He said, well, why is it impossible? So they gave a big list. All the reasons why it's impossible. He listed it all down. And he said, okay, this problem here, how do you solve that problem? And they all started coming up with answers how they could solve that problem. So by their initial negativity, they started turning it into solutions, finding solutions for those problems. So whatever the issues are, what is the solution? How can we make this work? And we can see there are many successful Goshalas. We heard about the HIMSA project, we have the Hungarian project, we have back into Manor. These are successful projects, many other successful projects. A family project, 14 years. So 17 years. So there are working models, but it's a practical thing. But to feed the cow, to look after the cow, what do you do for the hay? So it's about putting this thought process in. Now Kalakanda is working on this called Certificate of Readiness, where it obliges you to think about all these things. What kind of buildings, what kind of social structure, the economy. Show us the economy. What are you planning? What is your breeding schedule? How much milk are you going to get? Who's the milk for? It obliges new Goshala people to think about these things, and by going through the process properly, you start to see it can be done. We're hearing there's so much money out there for cow protection. It's not the issue. But do we want a cow protection product that's just dependent on donations, or do we want it to have as a business acumen? So with the HIMSA Foundation, their focus is to make it real business. But at the same time, there's this funding side that you can't ignore. You have to use it in some particular way. So thank you for going through that exercise. No one dealt with this social tension between the Brahminical income and the others, but still we touched on it. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.